The greatest of these Near Eastern empires are the Persians. This would these people would correspond to present-day Iranians. They would consider themselves ancestors or descendants of the Persians. So the Persians, looking at the area that is present-day Iran. These are Indo-European speaking people. They are migrated into the area toward the Fertile Crescent. They came in as nomads. They come in from the east, the Fertile Crescent, and that's where they'll settle, is east of the Fertile Crescent, east of present-day Iraq. So this is present-day Iran, the Persians. They set up two capital cities. They have the capital cities of Persepolis and Susa, so twin capital cities, and this will be east of Mesopotamia. And then they find a great leader, Cyrus the Great. Sometimes it just takes this, a great king, to harness the power of his people. They've settled down now, and they find a great king, Cyrus, who will be Cyrus the Great. So we're jumping ahead here a little bit. We're jumping into the 500s now. This will correspond to the classical age of Greece. When we get to Greece, the greatness of Greece, this will be contemporaneous with that. And so from Persia and Persepolis, the Persians will invade Mesopotamia and work their way toward Babylon. Cyrus the Great's unusual in that he presents a different idea of the way that an empire should be run. The Assyrians ran on terror, just sheer threat of the Assyrians. The Chaldeans ran theirs decently, but just kind of a strange people from Babylon. The Persians run, and Cyrus run, the idea of a world empire uniting everyone for a good purpose, for a general prosperity of an entire unification. Just it'll be the Persians leading the way. So he becomes Cyrus the Great as he conquers from the eastern side of the Mesopotamia into Mesopotamia and all the way to Babylon. He will defeat the Chaldeans. So they're short-lived empire. They're mentioned in the Bible. The Persians actually come into the Bible story in that fact that when they come into Babylon, they are the ones who free the Hebrews. And so the Hebrews will mention them in the Bible. In fact, Cyrus is mentioned as being sent from God, anointed by God, that this is part of God's freeing the Hebrews. And this is also true in general. In general, everyone that the Persians run into, the Persians are generally tolerant of their religion. They don't interfere with conquered people's religion. And Cyrus will build a huge empire. Starting here from present-day Iran, Persia, here's the capital cities of Persepolis and Susa, and then marching into Mesopotamia, here's Babylon, and then up into Mesopotamia, conquering everything, and then some armies heading down to Egypt, other armies continuing into Asia Minor, some armies coming back here toward present-day Afghanistan, all the way to the Indus River here, so all the way to India. This Persian Empire will expand and grow. I want to skip ahead here a little while to the religion. As far as religion goes, they're generally tolerant. Again, they don't impose their religion on the conquered people. They don't mess with religion. You're free to believe whatever God you want. The Persians, however, adopted the religion of a wandering monk. They are met by a wandering monk. He teaches them about a religion, and this is the religion they'll adopt. The wandering monk's name is Zoroaster, who sometimes will be mentioned as Zarathustra. So either of these names refer to this wandering monk who brings this new religion, this Zoroastrianism, this new idea given to the Persians. Zoroaster calls it the true religion. This is the answer you've been looking for, this one true religion. It is monotheism. There is only one God. The belief in only one God. And this God has a name. The God's name is Ahura Mazda, the one God. And he is the creator. He is the one who brought humans into being, brought the world into being. And he has granted humans something wonderful. He's granted humans free will. So you can choose now how your life turns out. You have the ability to decide for yourself. Do you want to choose good? This is the choice that humans make. Do you want to choose good? And you can see good around you. You can see good in your thoughts. You know when you have good thoughts, and you know when you have bad thoughts. You know right from wrong. So which do you choose, right or wrong? And then to be pious, to thank God for what you have. Or you can choose the opposite, and evil is sometimes much more attractive and easier to do. With evil thoughts, evil deeds, we all know them when we see them. And then lies, everyone knows that lies are evil. Even white lies, you think you're doing good, but you're really not. Greed, everyone generally agrees that the love of possessions is evil. So which do you choose? Do you choose good or evil as you go through life? So Zoroastrianism basically presents the idea that life is a struggle. There's two sides, good and evil. And then he presents the idea that there's a reason why you'd want to choose good, is that there's a judgment day coming. A judgment is coming, and Ahura Mazda will prevail and throw evil into an abyss. So your life is part of a general idea of doing good, that good is the way to go because evil will lose. Now later on, as this goes on, the Persians will be around for many years. The ideas spread and change a bit. In fact, it turns into polytheism. Other gods will be introduced, not just the one god. They'll have chants. So it's going to be spread through chanting. Stories will develop, a kind of mythos of Ahura Mazda and the other gods. Evil will take on a name. Evil will be personified. If there's a good god, Ahura Mazda, then there needs to be an evil god, and this will be a god named Ahriman, the representation of evil, as these two are vying for your decision making. Zoroastrian also will spin off into another sort of religion, a god called Mithra, a sun god, a warrior god who fights against evil. So Ahura Mazda can sit in judgment, but the fight goes on between Ahriman, the evil one, and Mithra, the good one. And Mithra is a warrior against the evil. Here's a statue of him as a warrior slaying the evil bull god. So this spins off into Mithraism. In fact, the Romans will become heavily involved in this Mithra once they're introduced to it, once they make it to the east and start confronting Zoroastrianism. They'll like this Mithra, this idea of a warrior for good. This religion, by the way, is still around today. Their people are called Parsis. They're a minority in Iran today. They're a minority because the Iranians today are Muslims, but they exist as a minority. In fact, there are even Parsi churches in the United States, people who've migrated over and formed their church. And then some of these ideas, the reason we talk about this is that these ideas of a judgment, good versus evil, will come into, and historians believe that some of these ideas will actually work their way into Judaism, which came first, the Judaic ideas or the Zoroastrianism ideas, and even into Christianity, the idea of a judgment day and heaven and hell.